The Pixel 6a in many ways, to use a metaphor, is the equivalent of Diet Coke in that it has much of the same taste as you find at a regular Coca-Cola, but with some of the sweet elements removed to help ensure it reaches the right price. You might be looking and wondering if you should pick one up as well, but here's 5 reasons that we think that you should. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. There really are very few affordable smartphones out there that offer clean, bloat-free Android as Google intended it. The Pixel 6a is actually likely the only option in North American markets, with the exception of last year's Pixel 5a and maybe a few of those other A-series devices. This is just the full, feature-rich Android 12 build with all of the trimmings and even a few timed exclusives like camouflage for Google Photos, which should now be rolling out to a lot of other Pixel devices out there. You can even install the most recent Android 13 beta builds, which only a small pool of devices are actually out there able to do. There's zero bloat here, there's no extra applications that you don't need, plus for the next 5 years, you get timely updates, and within that time period, Google has promised 3 full OS upgrades all the way until Android 15, with 2 more years of security patches on top of that. The value proposition is almost unrivaled by any OEM save Samsung. One UI isn't for everyone, of course, and major updates are often slower to roll out on Samsung Galaxy devices, especially their own A-series, making the Pixel 6a a great alternative for those wanting the best mobile software experience and that clean Android flavour. Because the Pixel 6a and the 6 Pro have basically become supersized smartphones at this point in time, the shaved dimensions of the Pixel 6a will offer a welcome reprieve for many fans and potential buyers out there, especially those looking for a slightly smaller handset. Let's temper those expectations a little though, as the Pixel 6a is not quite pint-sized like its predecessors. At 6.1 inches, it's still big compared to the Pixel 4a and the Pixel 5 before it, but it's certainly more manageable than the Pixel 6 and especially that Pixel 6 Pro. Put a case on it and you'll notice a clearer size difference as well, with a smaller camera bar, better overall reachability given the display bezels are actually slim on all sides, and when smartphones seemingly increase year over year, the Pixel 6a might provide a welcome haven or a comfortable footprint for you to carry around with you every day. There have been some slightly concerning in-display fingerprint scanner woes and stories floating about where some Pixel 6a reviewers have devices that seemingly can be unlocked with any unregistered digit. That said, in our own testing with several devices at this point in time, we haven't been able to replicate this. This doesn't actually appear to be a majorly widespread issue, but is something to be made aware of. And even despite this potential deal breaker, at least in our testing and the testing of many other reviewers out there, the Pixel 6a has the most reliable in-display scanner on a Pixel 6 series smartphone lineup device, at least at this point in time. The improved scanner unlocks marginally faster than the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, not that you would necessarily notice. Some people have had major issues with the in-display scanner on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, so this is going to be a welcome option because there are no such problems with this particular in-display scanner. Sadly though, we don't look like we're going to be returning to a rear capacitive scanner, so until then, at least you have something that's reliable and will take your digit, whether you have a screen protector on or not. After years of pushing low to mid-range Snapdragon processors for the Pixel A series, the flagship Tensor chip has been slapped inside the Pixel 6a, and it puts this just beneath many of the best Android smartphones of the past 18 months. Nothing is out of bounds with this chipset, including gaming, video and photo editing, and a lot more on top of that. Google's first chip may not be outright top of the performance charts, but it really isn't that far behind. Things like onboard language processing is basically instantaneous with the Tensor processor, and transcription and translation really are among the best in the business. There's also a number of post-processing camera effects that do require enhanced AI muscle that the Tensor processor does bring to the table. Things like motion mode, magic eraser, face unblur, and much more are all possible with faster processing on top of that for all of your images and videos, thanks to the return of Pixel Neural Core. In terms of chipset for a mid-range device, Tensor is an absolute triumph. Of course, the price is a key aspect, and one of the major reasons people will probably look at this phone. At $449 in the US is by no means cheap, but the package for the price here is very good. In context, there's actually not very many sub $500 smartphones in the United States that will receive day one updates for as long as the Pixel 6a and won't necessarily come with clean Android on top of that. Factor in some of the enhanced trading rates for previous devices and the ability to get deals with carriers in the United States and other regions, and the Pixel 6a is a truly affordable phone without many of the compromises we often associate with cheap Android phones. What's more, unlike the Pixel 5a, the Pixel 6a is available in more regions at relatively regional relative prices. Those markets are more competitive, but the Pixel 6a is still an enticing buy with free gifts for some pre-orderers and people who buy early, like the Pixel Buds A series, which themselves are a great product in their own right. Another bonus function that we thought we had to mention is that of an IP rating, as water resistance across the board is not created equal, but for an affordable smartphone like the Pixel 6a to even come with any sort of IP rating is a big bonus. This comes with an IP67 rating, which essentially means that your phone is protected from immersion in 1 meter or 3.3 feet of water for up to 30 minutes. You should definitely think about not taking the Pixel 6a swimming, but a dip in a puddle or a small body of water like a fountain, or even rain for instance, shouldn't spell the end of this device. Just avoid salt or seawater, as this can damage the phone. Rain, puddle and fresh water, they're all pretty much safe, and this is one of those things that elevates the Pixel 6a just above the crowd of affordable Androids out there. So there's 5 good solid reasons that we think you might want to look at the Pixel 6a, but it's not all roses. As the Pixel 6a is a great budget smartphone, it isn't perfect. A big bone of contention for tech enthusiasts out there in particular is the usage of a 60Hz display. In the context though of the Pixel 6 lineup, we think it makes a little bit more sense. Just think about it for a second. You have the entry-level Pixel 6a with a 60Hz panel, the base Pixel 6 with a 90Hz panel, and then the top of the line Pixel 6 Pro with a 120Hz refresh rate. There's enough division there to make each price point increase more enticing in terms of features and functions and what you get for your money, and it doesn't necessarily encroach upon each section all too drastically. It's also easy to point a finger at the camera setup on the Pixel 6a, especially given the massive upgrades of the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro late last year. The 50 megapixel ISOCELL GN1 sensor is a major step up over the Sony IMX363, which you'll find in the 6a. There's no real way to sugarcoat that. However, the now 4-year-old 12.2 megapixel main sensor is actually still capable, and with loads of Google's secret sauce post-processing slammed in there, it's a reliable companion in almost all scenarios that you'll face. There's also the removal of the 3.5mm headphone port, which has been a staple of the Pixel A series since 2019. This means you'll need to go and pick up a pair of extra Bluetooth earbuds like the recent Pixel Buds Pro, the Pixel Buds A series, or even go out and grab a USB-C to 3.5mm headphone adapter to continue using any wired headphones you have with the Pixel 6a. It's a frustration, but it is something that the industry has shown they're moving towards. We want to ask you though, are you thinking of picking up Google's latest affordable phone, or have you managed to grab one already? Let us know why you picked up the Pixel 6a and the colour that you chose as your next smartphone down in the comment sections below. But as always, this is Damien with 9to5 Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.